What's up, everybody? Your favorite Seth Feroce here with Action Sledge athlete Dean Perrone, aka the king of snacks. Follow his Instagram page, you won't be disappointed. So many snacks and ideas, it's awesome. At Dean Perrone, put that in the thing, Shane. Put it on there, tag it, make it look cool. All that cool shit that you do, you don't get fired for it. All right, so today what Dean and I are gonna do, we're gonna run through doing the whiteboard. Everybody loves a whiteboard. I like it because it keeps me in check, and I like notebooks. This is my big giant notebook. It's part of my deal here at Action Sledge. I have whiteboards everywhere. Rear delts, the body part that nobody can do well. It's like the biggest pain in the ass for everybody. I mean, you probably get a ton of questions about it as well. Oh, yeah. Everybody's lagging body parts. So I figured today, Dean and I are gonna run through a ton of different variations of different exercises for rear delts. I'll go through some of the things that I use to build my rear delts, the weird, quirky, over-the-top things that everybody used to give me shit about, but that's what I attest how I built my physique. So even though it's not perfect, even though it's not like what everybody typically does or I get my balls busted for it, I think that some of these exercises we're gonna do are why I have phenomenal rear delts. Gotta be a dick a little bit, but I know that's real. So with rear delts, the whole goal with bodybuilding and building a physique is to look good naked, build your self-confidence, feel good about yourself. I mean, nothing better than taking your shirt off and feeling good. So from the side, from the front, and from the rear, we want to have a full rounded shoulder. So from the side, whenever you've heard me say it in other videos, I talk about having the 7 look on your shoulder, okay? Right here is where we're building. The more muscle that we have right here, the more of a dominant look you're gonna have from the side. Sure, there's other body parts, but this is what we're focusing on. The smaller this rear delt, the worse it's gonna look. So like I say, I wanna keep packing on mass. That was really bad. Shake it, too much pre-workout, let's go. Okay, there you see it, the 7 look. We wanna keep packing on as much mass onto this rear delt as possible, and then it is paying that 7 look from the side. It's not gonna be sharp, can't do that, but we wanna keep on it, packing on mass, and as we get pumped up, you'll see that occur on my shoulders. So this is from the side, and we want to have that 3-dimensional look from the side as well, to make sure that you look like you have depth. Again, all the exercise, we're gonna go through some mass building, we're gonna go through some detailed oriented, we're gonna show you different ranges of motion, because again, your rear delt is not that fucking big. It's like that big. From the front, you think rear delts don't matter, but the more muscle that we pack on to this rear delt, little by little, you're gonna have more of that dominant look that we're looking to attain, okay? Because again, in bodybuilding, with your training, with your dieting, with your supplementation, with everything that you do, all the little bits, all the little inches that you can get better and better in little spots add up to a big fucking pile. All those little crumbs will turn into a pile after so long. And then again, the most important is from the back. Whenever you're standing there, whether you're on stage or just taking your shirt off on the beach looking good, or wherever the fuck you are, or you're a woman, I don't know. This look, again, from this side, this look from behind is gonna be the look that we were talking about from the side here, whenever you have that 3-dimensional look. This is the look that we'll have here. These are the biggest pain in the ass body parts, the rear delt, simply because it's right there, put right there. Because the tie-in, we wanna have a nice look. It's one of the biggest pains in the ass is because it's so small. Other body parts, your traps, your lats, your back, your rhomboids, they'll take over during the exercise, and then you won't optimize the exercise for the rear delt. So whenever you're doing bent over rear delt raises, and you're flapping in the wind, going, you might be hitting your rear delts a little bit, but you're actually hitting your traps, your rhomboids, a little bit of lats, because the stronger, more dominant body parts will take over the exercise. So the goal with Dean and I today is to go through a bunch of different exercises and show you guys, because we both look phenomenal in tank tops, what and how to do the exercise to target those specific body parts. The range of motion is going to be the most important. So you got anything to mention about it?
No, I think you pretty much covered it. But yeah, I think it's having a full rounded shoulder is one of the most impressive things that, I mean, to me, when I see pro bodybuilders like yourself and that, to me, that's what stands out. And the rear delt is usually something that pops and catches your eye more than anything, I think. You see the side delt, but you see that big, like you're saying, that 7, that's what catches my eye all the time.
Oh yeah, I mean, just being into bodybuilding and being into is bodybuilding and physique and everything that we're into, when you see somebody that has a great physique, you're like, fuck dude, you figured it out, you're putting in work, and everything ties together. And this is, I used to have horrible delts early on in my early 20s, and it's taken me a long time to build such great shoulders that I have. Look at Shane. Shane's like, you fucking conceited bastard. Yeah, without it, let's fucking roll. My pre-workout's set in, I'm sweating already, so we'll warm up and get this bitch started. So we'll just warm up, simple. What got me into bodybuilding, what I think gets everybody into bodybuilding, is just looking good naked. Everybody wants to have that look. What I found out that I loved was I get to build a physique. And me being, I don't know, me with my personality of making sure that everything has like a symmetrical look, but I still have that thing where I want to be a meathead and get all big and shit. I just went through and meticulously picked through my workouts and exercises and watched a million videos, watched a ton of people. We're just gonna try and help you guys limit your fuck ups. Try new things. Like I said, there's one exercise that I absolutely love. I should say it's unorthodox. I do very heavy bent over dumbbell raises. Okay, I do them really heavy, but I have such a short range of motion again, because I don't want the bigger body parts to take over. I'm just trying to push blood and use heavy weight, because a stronger muscle is a bigger muscle. It's something that Hani beat into my head, and I do believe that. So this is one of the exercises I use to build mass. So we'll start, I just do standing, bent over, rear delt raise with the dumbbells. I keep my feet together, closer together. My hands are in the center of the dumbbell. Bend over, stick my ass out, and I'm gonna have the dumbbells like this in front of me. So I'm gonna hold them like this in front of me, and whenever I come up, I'm not going all the way back, because if I go all the way back, I'm gonna work my traps and I'm gonna work my lats. I'm gonna feel it, because the weight's heavier. So I'm going to have a range of motion that is very small. I'm going to go up high enough, elbows will slightly bend, okay? I'm gonna go up high enough where I feel it. Might as well just show you all how good I look. So if I go up too high, I'm gonna go right to here. So if I go up too high, I'm gonna work other body parts that I want to. Right here, I can use a lower weight. I'm not flapping out. I'm gonna bend my elbow slightly right here. And as I'm doing it, focus right there. Give it a point, D.
Well, I mean, you can literally see, when you're doing the motion you're doing, all just moving as your rear delt here. When you're doing the other one, everything up here is moving.
Now,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's okay if we're using a lighter weight, but whenever I'm doing this, I'm focusing that short range of motion on my rear delts. Dean's just doing this slight bend in his elbows. Not a row and not a whole raise out. We want this right here. Notice his chaps aren't engaging. Right here, that little muscle group, right there is what we want to hit. Again, that short range of motion is how we're able to move up and increase in weight over and over. Because he starts at the 35s, I start at the 50s, move up in increments of 10. And again, right here. This is what I would call a mass building exercise for your rear delts. Because most exercise that people do for rear delts are all detail oriented. Whenever you're doing like a light face pull or you're doing light rear delt raises, those are great, but you still have to make the fucking thing big. You still have to put mass on it. So this is a great place to start. One more thing before we move on. Hand placement. I was holding the dumbbells in front of me like this. You can turn them out and do the same exercise. You'll feel it hit slightly different, not much, but again, the whole goal is for you to be comfortable during the exercise, to move the weight and feel that muscle group activate.
But another thing is to keep the dumbbell's out a little ways. You know, I'm doing this over exaggerating, but you're gonna be out here where you're doing rear delt.
It's almost like you want the arm and the floor to be perpendicular.
And the point I'm making about this is if you go too heavy or you start coming back too much, if you're back here, you're gonna start almost turning it into kind of like a dumbbell row and feeling it, you're gonna start engaging your lat way more than your rear delt. So keeping it, whether, like Seth said, if you have your hands this way or you have your hands this way, doesn't really matter as long as you wanna be able to feel what you're doing, so.
Now that we did the heavy one, an example of it would be doing bent over rows with a lighter dumbbell. Same thing, but when I'm here, I'm gonna keep more of a straight arm. And if I'm doing straight arms, that means that I can't use heavier weight. That doesn't mean I'm not activating the rear delt. I just wanna make sure I'm not activating my traps and my lat. Again, perpendicular to the ground like that. When I come out, now I'm not gonna go all the way up. I'm gonna keep a nice strict form.
And you can see it's the exact same. As far as you can see, like you're saying, nothing else really is engaging. You see the rear delt, even though it's a completely different movement.
There should be no body movement, no body English, for lack of a better phrase. I don't want, if you do that, you see everything activate. Else activate, not my IC strength. Same concept of trying to build the rear delts, just a different variation. You can do them both. Do a set of heavy, then do a set of light. Do a set of heavy, and do a set of light.
And the lighter ones, obviously too, you can get a quick hold at the top, I think.
Yeah, the light and the weight, get a good squeeze.
But you're not gonna do, obviously, on the heavier ones.
Yeah, great detail-oriented exercise. I still do a ton of them. You can add intensity through your workout by doing a heavy set into a drop set and end with those. Don't overcomplicate this shit. Keep it simple. Good call. Moving on. I guess the next one, which would be really simple, is, okay, so we just went over that and I said don't use body English and buy a bunch of body movement. I've seen you do these before, where people will just put their head on here.
Yeah, I do those a lot.
That way, you're not able to move and rock. This is like, it's almost like a preacher curl. Mm-hmm. Now you can get fancy again with the dumbbells, and you can do them that way, or you can keep them in that neutral grip and then spin your wrists out. Yep. Yep. This is a great way to add a little bit of spice to the exercise. Again, most important thing, whenever you're doing this, don't confuse yourself and start engaging the other body parts. Your rear delts look great, Peter.
Thank you. I think with everything too, like, because I think people tend to overcomplicate everything, right?
Yeah.
Because we see the questions all the time. But as opposed, or I'm just in regards to hand grip, whether it's this way or this way, if you do 4 sets, I just tell people do 2 and 2.
Do 2 and 2.
I mean, it's not that complicated. It's just.
Whenever I come into the gym, I just want to have fun. I don't think about it too much. I just want to come in and let loose. So that means, like, don't think because Dean said 4, do 2 and 2 doesn't mean that you can't do 3 and 3.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like I say, whenever I list a workout, bro, if you're feeling something, roll with it. Because the only way for you to figure out your body and like your specific look, because Dean and I could do the same exercises and look different. That goes for you as well, so that's why we're doing this. So we're 3 deep. I got another one. Yeah, we'll spin this around. On this exercise, I feel like whenever I'm doing it, I don't hold myself to just one arm movement. I'll do like 3 different movements because it's like an overall shoulder developing exercise where it's like I want that. Like when I look in the mirror and I look at myself, like I want the whole rounded look. Like, I mean, you can see my rear delt, how it has that 7, like that straight line all the way back. So when I'm doing this exercise, I'm in here, my chest, top of my chest is at the top of this, my feet are on here, and I'll come out and do the rear delts. So I'm there. And then I'll just continue to move my arms forward. And I'm still hitting my rear delts, but I start to feel other parts of my shoulder activate. But I'm okay with it because I want this big round look. So I'll be here, And then I'll just keep moving my arms back. And I'll use a lighter weight. And I'm using a lighter weight so that like I'm not really counting reps.
Yeah.
Like, cause I'm doing so many. I'll start from the back, work my way forward, work my way back, work my way forward.
And would you suggest, obviously you can throw this in anywhere, would you suggest to people that this sounds like a great finisher also, right?
Fuck yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think, I'll put it third, I'll put it fourth, or I'll put it fifth. You can just do rear delts like this, but whenever I'm doing them, I look at it like, oh, here's an opportunity for me to like,
overall,
get that 3D look. Yeah, we'll start there. And then just keep moving forward, little by little. Yep, still pulling on this rear delt. And the thing is, like I said, I don't really want reps counted. Don't count the reps, just keep going until you can't go no more. It's one of those instinctive things where you don't overcomplicate it, don't get tied up in the reps, lose yourself in the exercise itself. Like envision the rounding of your shoulders, just think about that look that you won, and then just keep pushing for it. Once you get to a point where you're like, oh, I want to stop, do fucking 10 more, then start counting. I don't know, I get lost. Whenever I'm in the gym and I'm like in my fucking zone, when I'm in the zone, like I have like a specific feel and I'll get lost, and that's really what I want you guys to do, is get lost in an exercise like this, and that way like I'm looking to impress myself.
Well, it's true about rep range too. I think everybody gets caught up on a rep range. Like I do 10 reps of this and that's all they do. Well, like you're saying, sometimes you get into it.
Yeah, get lost.
You got music going, you're in your zone. It's just like, my rep ranges are all over the place. Sometimes they make no sense.
The goal is to just attain a look. You know, we're not power lifters. We're not Olympic lifters. We're bodybuilders. There's no right way or wrong way to build a physique. It's your way. And if your way works for you, fuck yeah. You look good naked, still get your dick hard, go have fun in life. That's the mentality I have about it. Awesome exercise, there you're right. Start doing these, do them at the end of your workout. Do them at the end of your shoulder workout, you'll be fucking
smart. Yeah, they just pump so much blood in there.
Ton of blood.
You can feel them burning. Once you go up and back a couple times.
Oh yeah.
I mean.
Feels good. All right.
Just doing basically like a row, like a rear delt row kind of this way?
Yes. So I guess it would be like similar to an upright row, but just with your chest out.
Yeah, and you're coming. I mean, I've done them even like on a Smith machine or just a barbell bent over, kind of wide grip.
Yep.
And then it's the same thing, but I do them on this a lot with dumbbells.
I'd say that this exercise, what Dean's explaining, is a little more of an advanced technique for somebody that has rear delts, and you can feel them work and feel them activate, because what's going to end up occurring is if you don't have good mind to muscle connection with your rear delts, I mean, you can see Dean's rear delts. You can see the separation between his side delt and his rear delt right here, okay? Keep going, yeah. So you can see the exercise. He's saying hold dumbbells and you'll do a row similar to this. You can see other portions of his back activate, but what he's doing is, since he has good mind to muscle connection, this is a great exercise that he uses to add mass to his shoulders, to his rear delts. It's like whenever you're from the side here, perpendicular to the ground, because on this, you're gonna wanna pull with your lats, you're gonna wanna pull in a row motion. So almost focus on keeping the dumbbells pulled forward as well, so that you're in that perpendicular. Oh, fuck yeah. Yep.
Again, this isn't something I'm gonna go crazy heavy and just try to swing weight and get it up to move the weight. Pick a weight that I can do a nice tempo with, and when I come up though, I just hold for a second, and you can literally feel like the rear delt getting tight. Yeah, you can feel it.
Oh yeah.
So I would say, if you've never done it before, pick a weight until you get comfortable, and you can actually feel that squeeze at the top, and then go from there, obviously.
Fuck yeah. So I never do these. I just had an idea of watching him. Whenever you were doing these in that hold, like if I was looking at it from a pump perspective, or how to push more blood into it, rather than that squeeze at the top, because I watched you doing it. But the engagement that you had right at the very beginning, like right when you came up, you saw everything activate. So that shorter range of motion, you could use a little bit heavier weight
Just shorten the motion.
And shorten the motion because I'm not able to get any swing to it. So I mean, I could probably move up to like the 60s and really,
Your rear delts just.
and really fucking move some weight because I won't swing and I won't activate anything else. And then maybe like do like a few pumps, like 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
You're going to get some trap engagement, which I mean, it's not a bad thing, obviously, but you can see your traps working too, especially when you came up a little higher on that, like that 3. But
These exercises, the muscle group is so small, like you need to find what works to activate it. Let's move into some fucking cables. Next exercise, face pulls with the rope. The face pulls, just where you're pulling it right to your face. I fucking hate face pulls because I was never able to feel it the way I saw everyone doing it. Everybody does them similar to this. They'll just, and I get it. You're working your rear delts, but I always personally felt it in my traps. And I was like, I didn't feel them, and I'm like, okay. So there is a benefit because I do feel it, but how can I manipulate this exercise to where I do feel it? Whenever I'm doing any type of training, and for bodybuilding, everything I was doing, I was a big time competitive bodybuilder. I wanted to look. So majority of everything that I do all relates back to posing. All relates back because the whole thing was I'm trying to look good on stage. So if I'm doing an exercise, it should emulate a pose. I wasn't getting that. So what I did was I moved the variation where I put my head down. Instead of keeping my head up and pulling to my face, head was down and I'm pulling back. And I'm feeling that squeeze in my rear delts. Feeling it. The goal with it was whenever I would do a pose, the pose was from behind, where whenever I do a rear double by, I'd go up, I'd come down, back out. So, up, up, down. All has a systematic way of going about it. So I hated face pulls for the longest time until I manipulated the exercise to where it worked and it hit the rear delts and how I wanted them to hit them. You can see right there, and that nice tie-in to the shoulder. You're seeing it all right here. Ties right in. Again, bigger stretch. Now what you can do is Dean can lean down further and you'll feel it even pull. So whenever it pulls even harder, that tie-in of your rear delt, your lat, your rhomboids, everything, now that tie-in is what we're gonna focus on because you can feel the stretch. Like I can feel it right there, that force engagement right away, right out of the gate. Right there.
And again, shorter motion. You're not pulling, like this.
No.
You're not pulling behind your head.
No, don't pull behind your head. Again, go as far as the motion. Whenever you're here, I'm not this. No. Right here.
You can see, like rocks.
And again, the further I lean down and pull, the more I feel it in that tie-in area.
Yeah, I could definitely tell a difference when you push me, when you
Oh yeah, and then just push your chest down to the ground and you'll feel the stretch in your rear delts. This does work, okay? However, whenever I'm doing this exercise, whenever I do face pulls like this, I feel it all in my traps. I don't feel it in my rear delts. I think a lot of people do them and they feel the exercise working because you do feel it somewhat in your rear delts, but you feel a ton in your traps. And you're like, fuck it, I'm still working and I'm still trying to look good naked, so I'm gonna do it anyway. Lean down a little further. Because that systematic thought I have in my head, just here.
So the way Seth is doing them, you can see Traps aren't really moving at all, no engagement. You see all the engagement in the rear delts, which is what we're doing here. As opposed to standing up, you can see every rep, his traps are completely contracting. You can very visible, very easy to see that. And like he said, you're still hitting the rear delts, but you're hitting the traps a lot more as well, doing them what 90% of the people in the gym do them that way.
Not optimizing.
Yeah.
Still works,
Yeah.
but just not as well. You're not optimizing, that's all. Well, this is one of my favorite detail exercises. Face down face pulls. That's how whenever you see me in a workout and I write down face pulls or put it in there, this is what I'm referring to. Again, head down into it, pulling back. Not like this. I don't want you to go into it like this. Put your head down like that. Because again, all I'm thinking of is in the pose, the rear delts.
Okay, another one I like to do, I throw this in a lot. The regular cable row. Same thing as like you're gonna sit doing like a, lap row or whatever. And it's very similar, kind of like when we were on the incline bench and pulling back. Same thing, so you're gonna pull kind of high and keep the form strict. And again, you're just feeling this in the rear delt.
So you're keeping your arm, his arms are like parallel to the ground. And you're gonna feel like you're pulling up higher. Yeah, I mean, similar to, again, to an upright row.
Yes.
Yeah, right there. Yep, right there.
And this is something a lot of times I'll kind of throw in at the end maybe.
Yep.
Just to kind of burn them out. Might go higher rep. Still enough weight, but I mean, again, kind of as a finisher and just push as much blood in.
I guess if you have this opportunity, if you have this piece of equipment, the double-handed cable, awesome. It's a great weight because you'll keep more tension on your rear delt more than you will with dumbbells. This is one of my favorite finishers. I'll get in here, and then I'll focus. I'll start on my rear delts just because that's my weakest part of my shoulder. I won't go all the way back because I'll engage my traps. I'll go so far where I'm like, just like parallel with my body. Right here, I'll start with this, and then I'll work up.
And like you said, what I love about doing these is the constant, anything cable obviously is going to provide constant tension, more than dumbbells. So cables are great.
Yeah, no, and again, awesome finisher, like I said, whenever you're doing it. If you have this, just another variation, I personally like because the full look, that three-dimensional look, you want the whole, from all the way from the back, rounded to the front. This one, this one here is like, you see everybody do it everywhere, and there is, again, there's a million different variations of what we're about to do. We're just doing cable raises from every different angle, whether one-arm cable raises from middle, top, bottom, no handle, grabbing the nut sack of this thing, grabbing the ball of it, using a handle, different variations, how you pull. All we're gonna do is run through and you'll be able to see Dean how it works on his rear delts and his delts in general, from the top, from the bottom, from the middle. The whole goal, remember this, the whole goal is to feel your body part engaged. We're working rear delts, we want the rear delt to engage. Are you gonna work some other body parts? Yes, slightly, but we wanna optimize this rear delt. So, try all these different variations that we're about to go through, see what works for you, and add some spice to your life. He's keeping his elbow in a fixed position, and he's focusing. Again, you don't see the trap engage, all rear delt. You can start to see it fire. Yep, you see it right there. Right there. Like I said, he's keeping his arm in a fixed position. If it's not in a fixed position, he might engage other body parts, which he doesn't want to. So this, right there. And the most important thing, when you put it back, don't put your hand right there and snap it. It's a pinch point. I used to be safety guy, so pinch points. Don't stick your hand anywhere you wouldn't stick your dick. We'll go from the bottom, same type of exercise.
This way?
You pull up.
How do you do?
So whenever I do it, I get a little,
bend.
I get a little bend down. I just get a little bend down. I like doing these when I look in the mirror. Again, so whenever I'm looking in the mirror, I can see everything work, and I can just watch myself look good. Now you see how far away Dean is from this cable? The closer he move closer to it, it's gonna pull a little bit differently, okay? That's physics, that's science, you can't change that. Whenever he steps further away in this, the force engagement, where it starts, is going to be different than whenever he's closer to there. You can see how far his arm is pulled over compared to when he gets closer to the apparatus.
The closer you are, it's heavier at the bottom, right?
Yeah.
Right?
So again, I'm not a physics major, but it doesn't take a fucking genius to figure out that you're like, oh my God, it feels different when I'm closer than when I'm far away. That's all I recognize whenever I would do these exercises. Because I just like this shit. You just watch my arm. Like, I'm not going to move anything. I'm just going to step closer or step further away. So if I'm starting here, and then it just, I didn't do anything. So it stretches. So now when I'm here, and then I engage, and once I pull up, it's going to get heavier at the top. It's the same exercise, just different distance. So like, oh my God, which one's better? Both. It doesn't fucking matter. Do them both. See what works for you, because this is just you building your physique. This is the fun part. This is what I fell in love with. It's like I said, I'm not a fucking physics major. I don't know what I'm doing. I just know that it feels different and I like it. Makes me bigger. Okay, we're gonna do more cables. From the top now, and again, whenever you're going from the top, it's the same concept. We want to keep our arm in a fixed position, whether it be slightly bent or straight armed. If you're straight armed, you're going to use lesser weight. If you're slightly bent and you're in a fixed position, you're going to be able to use a little bit more weight, but you're going to be able to also feel it in the way that you want to. If I'm straight armed, here it is. Straight arm. If I got a little bend in my arm, keep it steady, keep it stiff. Simple concepts. Give it a shot so we can show everybody. There it is. Rear delt. Arm in a fixed position, just pulling. Same thing from the side, same thing from the bottom, again from the top. It's just gonna pull a little bit differently. You're gonna feel the slight difference, whether it's from above, from the middle, or from the bottom. But again, most important thing, you feel the motherfucker. I want you to feel the exercise so that you can gain from this. If you really want to confuse yourself, the doubles. You see a lot of people on Instagram do it. You see a lot of people in general do it. Dean's looking great. He's lean, he's sexy, he stopped eating cookies last week. I personally can't do those. My mind does not work well enough to do those. I can't do them at the same time. I've always just been one armed. Yeah, I'm not long enough to do two. So I just do one. But like, whenever I'm here, it's like I'm just discombobulated. Like there's too many things going on. Like I don't want to pinch my fingers. Yes. I don't want to cross over and lose control. I feel like the white person on one of them Tupperware commercials. That's what I feel like right now. I'm like, oh my God, I can't use my Tupperware. I don't know what to do. I need fucking Save-A-Lot foods or some shit.
Most of the stuff we're showing you guys, you can pretty much do at any gym.
Yep.
This is all basic stuff.
Yep.
So these are just different variations of rear delts for you guys to just throw in the arsenal when you do shoulders. So again, you don't have to do all of them at once. Just rotate them through your workout. So
do more than one rear delt exercise in your workout. Do more than one if you have lagging rear delts. Don't put your rear delts at the end of your workout all the time because they're the small one. Dude, you can do rear delts your second exercise. I always say do like a heavy side or a press first and second. Third, do rear delts and then go back into doing, some type of side exercise or another front exercise and hit rear delts again.
But even if, like you said, if you do a press first I would say if you have lagging rear delts, don't save them for last because your shoulder's already gassed by the time you get to them.
Yeah,
so
and then also you just say, oh, I'm good. I'll do them next time, or I'll do them on back day.
Yeah.
And then you fucking don't. Like if you're like, oh, I need bigger rear delts or I need bigger biceps, that means that you have to prioritize those body parts and put them ahead of other muscle groups. No matter what, because I mean, like, I like having big shoulders. Like I like the 7 look. Like you can see the separation between my shoulder and my tricep, that the angle, and then all the way back, flat into it. That was the goal, and you have to work to attain that. Do rear delts on shoulder day, and do them on back day. Separate shoulder and shoulder day and back day far enough apart with like 2 to 3 days in between them, so you can do rear delts on both days. This is the last exercise that I'll show. I do it because whenever I was doing rear delts on back day as well, I noticed that if I do on assisted pull-ups, on my assisted pull-ups, I do like half a rep from the bottom halfway up and do a wider grip and hit my rear delts. I know I probably look like a monkey fucking a football up here, but what does it equate back to? Me from the top, coming down and in to that rear double bicep. Again, it's gonna be the tie-in portion right there, that rear delt to lat tie-in, and I'm not going up all the way, I'm just going up halfway, from the bottom halfway up. Right there. Yeah.
You can feel it right in the tie-in.
Yep. Right there, that tie-in. That's what we're looking for, is from end to here, because that's your rear delt right there. So in that, whenever I would do those,
I've never done those.
all I'm thinking about. And you'll feel it because if you go with a closer grip, you'll feel it a different way than if you have a wider grip. And the wider you go, the shorter range of motion you'll have. You know, because if I'm out here, all I'm trying to do is right here.
So it's very similar to the assisted pull-ups we were just doing. It's just that quick, short movement.
Yep.
And everybody's gonna say
You can see the tie-in right there. You can see it. That's the whole damn tour. Go back, watch this a bunch of times, go into the gym, take this into the gym, watch a YouTube video there, go through it, emulate the exercises that we were doing. The whole goal is for you to become better in the gym. Look better naked, get laid more by your woman, the whole 9. Tell everybody you look great. That's the good shit. That's, I mean, the compliment that you want in life. So, yeah. Go back, watch everything. In the bio of this video, you'll go through, you'll be able to look at all the different exercises. That's it. Make sure you subscribe. Follow Dean on Instagram, the Snack King. You'll be so pleased. He's also an ambassador for a ton of different companies that I also support because they're great people that own the companies. So, yeah, all the good shit. All right, everybody. Remember, if you leave it in too long, you end up with like 7 kids like Dean and I.
Got a basketball team.
Like a basketball team.